It is my pleasure to introduce our guest speaker today, Loren Steck. Loren Steck grew up in Ephraim, Utah, and attended Snow College, so he has been here where you are. His father, Jack Steck, founded the House of Glass in 1974. Jack saw a need in his community for windows, doors, and other similar products, and successfully ran the company for many years, focusing on whatever it took to take care of his customers. In 1997, Loren and his brother Kerry bought the business from their dad so that Jack could enjoy retirement. The two brothers ran the company together for 23 years until 2020, at which point Loren became the sole owner of House of Glass, and he is now president. What originally began as a simple operation operated out of a shed next to Jack's home has evolved multiple times over nearly 50 years of business. House of Glass has become the largest supplier and installer of glass and fenestration products in central Utah. And if you don't know what fenestration means either, hopefully Loren will define that for us today. But it is still family owned and operated, focused on serving the communities that the Stecks live in and love. Loren and his wife Melinda in the back. Melinda, will you raise your hand? Yes, very much a part of this team. They have 3 sons and have given very, very much service to the local community. So please welcome Loren Steck.
Well, is it too loud? Too loud? You got it. I speak kind of loud. I'm used to doing that. Well, it's a pleasure for me to be here. Yeah. I'm really nervous, to be honest with you, but I really don't like to speak in big crowds, but they're not too big. So I'm really grateful for the opportunity to share the House of Glass story to each of you and part of my family. When Professor Russ asked me to come and do this, I was kind of hesitant, but I've been on the other side when I've had to ask people to speak or talk, and I know how he feels, and so I'd be glad to do so. Well, to start out, if anybody has to be in a meeting, okay? It's now Halloween. So I'll tell you what, you guys send this around here. If we have to be in a meeting, okay, at least the candy will be enjoyable, right? Whether you come away from me with anything, that's another thing. So let me tell you a little bit about myself, okay? Russ told me a little bit. I hope you can call him Russ or Professor Tanner. I should probably refer it to. So he alluded to a few things. So I grew up in Ephraim, okay? I haven't been too far, other than off to school for a bit out in Provo and on a mission for the Church of Jesus Christ. I haven't been too far. In fact, I only moved 3 houses down from where I grew up. I built a house down there with my wife. So I went to Manti High School. It was great. It was a great place to grow up. Ephraim is growing, okay? In the past several years, we've really seen a lot of growth. So Professor Tanner said that I did go to Snow College. So yes, that is me up there. That was when I graduated, as I was walking up to graduation, my friend Guy Larson, his mom worked in the recruiting office. And Brock Schluter, some of you may know Brock Schluter, turned and said, "Hey, Loren, we need a picture." And Guy and I were right there together, and we turned, and then all of a sudden all these girls came around us, okay? So it was quite the benefit, and this particular advertisement went throughout all the next year, would have been 1994. So anyway, so that's really my only claim to fame to Snow College. Other than my education, I did get an associate's degree here, and then I went up to Utah Valley, where I got a degree in radiology, okay? So here's kind of a twist on things that I never really thought that I would be coming back to the family business. So I went away. Melinda and I got married when we were in school at that age, and I met her here at Snow College. So there's another Snow College love story. And so we came back here, and I started working in the clinic and at the hospital in Mount Pleasant. The radiology thing, I did it for 25 years, okay? I did x-rays at night at the hospital on call. So if they needed me, I went to the hospital. But I worked at the family business at that time and then eventually just moved in. And because I loved being outdoors, I loved being able to use my hands, and so that's what took me into glazing and running the business. So let's move on. So when Professor Tanner asked me about speaking here for an entrepreneur, I didn't really consider myself an entrepreneur, right? In my mind, entrepreneur was somebody who had an idea for a product or a business or service, took it from the ground up and made it happen, okay? And so I said, you know what? I guess I gotta look up the definition of it. So I did, okay? So here it is. So an entrepreneur is, right? Anybody probably got this memorized. This is probably like your motto. A person who organizes a business or businesses taking a greater than normal financial risk to do so. I went, okay. So maybe I am in this category. I got thinking about it. It's been 6 weeks since we talked and he asked me to do it, so I've been kind of pondering a bit. So I broke this down into 3 categories, which I figured it would be, okay? So kind of an entrepreneurial in 3 categories. Number 1, a person who wants to own his or her own business has always desired to be a boss and looks to design, invent, or distribute, or do services. I talked with Forrest. Where are you, Forrest? Forrest back there. When I met him out in the lobby, I said, how, what do you like about this class? And he says, I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to find something. I got lots of ideas and develop something. So this is you, Forrest, right? Oh, and by the way, if you've got questions, let's ask them, okay? I'd rather have this interactive. And if you ask a good question, I've got a shirt and a hat over here, but you got to ask a question. Any questions? It's got to be good, too. It's got to be good. The second one, a person who happens upon an idea, product, or service, not really expecting to produce it or market it, but sees its value, right? Do we see that happen? Anybody got any ideas where you've seen that happen? Come on, you're an entrepreneurial class. How about Mrs. Jones is in the kitchen, finds out a better cooking utensil, right? She goes, hey, this works better than this spatula. I'm going to use this, right? She goes, finds the right people. They help her market it. Now she's got her own business, right? It can be the simplest things, right? Who watched Sharks? Anybody watch Sharks in this place? I like to watch Sharks when I get a minute about it. It's kind of interesting. They're pretty cool guys, and they're smart too. So the third one, a person who acquires a business and continues moving forward with the process and services in place. That was me, right? That would have been my brother and myself. But my dad, let's go to the next click. So that's my dad in probably about 79, okay? The garage over here to the side is his house. I'm sorry, Russ, onto it. He started the business in his garage, okay? Over there. And now we have our business today, and that's going to change to a little bit because we're going to put a different front onto it, but we keep working on that. But anyway, so that's the business today. So 1974 to 2003, we're almost at 50 years, and we're pretty proud of that. It's been a good long haul. It's provided lots of employment for many families. So here's my mom and dad. Dad came home in 1974 from the local trailer plant. They were building trailers here in town, and he said, I just can't deal with the administration that's going on down there. He said, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm not going to let you starve. And so he then started to look for it, and I'll get a little bit more into that. Okay, I'll move on. This is my brother, Kerry, who Brother Russ entered. I keep calling you Brother Russ. We're in this church together. I'm sorry. Okay, this is my brother, Kerry, and he is 13 years older than me. I am the last of 7. And so I'm almost kind of a third generation. My nephew is in the back, Loren Steck. He belongs to Kerry. Kenley worked with us in the business for a long time. And so Kenley would have been third generation, but since I'm kind of the last, we're really not that far apart as far as years go. And so Kerry came into the business in the early 80s and helped my dad. Kerry on the other side was a policeman and again, changed jobs, okay? So just something to think about. And so then this is my family, my wife back there and my 3 boys. And all of us have resided in Ephraim, and we all live no more than 2 miles away from each other, about 1.5 miles, okay? So that's the Steck family. So all my brothers and sisters worked in the business at some point in time, helped out during the summer. So it was a family business from when it started in 1974. So I want to go on from here. Okay, so this next slide, this kind of breaks it down. I'm gonna have to step back so I can look at it and see. So in 1974, my dad left the trailer business down there and said, I'm gonna do something. He started doing odds and ends jobs, and my mom's cousin worked for the 6-county heat program, and it still exists today, the heat program. And they were in need of somebody to do storm windows and storm doors. And so my wife's cousin, who was older, had my dad start to do this. And so he started to develop relations with the glass people in the industry and started doing windows, doors, and glass. And there wasn't a glass company in town. The local hardware store sold some glass, but to get windows, you had to go outside the area. So he saw the need of that and started his own business, okay? So his focus at that time were windows, doors, storm doors, and storm windows. That was probably what he sold. He moved into the auto glass, okay? And the flat glass would be like if you came in for a picture frame or needed a single light pane, okay? Or in what we've now, and then we did light commercial glazing. We did the storefront doors and then patio covers. A patio cover generally hangs onto a house and covers over. And so it was kind of all intermixed there. So in Sanpete County, it's getting less and less that we have to do this, but we had to do a broad spectrum to keep employed, okay? Because in the city, most of the people can stick with one or two things, right? They would do windows and doors and that's it. But we just didn't keep busy enough, and so we had to look into different things, okay, to provide for us. So that brings us to another thing here, okay, about it. So my dad, and I'll get to this here in a minute, but my dad ran the business, and we looked at different things all along the way, and so did he. What made money, what didn't, what do we focus on? So here are some of the changes that I want to talk about and things that kind of evolved through the business. So I titled it Adapting to the Needs of the Community and Changing to Increase Profits and Productivity, okay? So in about 1986 or 87, my dad, he took the trade that he had with the RV repair business, and he saw the need. People were bringing him trailers saying, can you repair my trailer, repair my trailer? And so he gathered up his buddies who he had worked with at the trailer plant, and the trailer plant had dissolved by that time, and he brought them in, and they started repairing trailers. Back on that other page that I had back further, the bigger shop, he built that to allow that we could pull trailers into that. So we repaired trailers for a long time, okay? And back in 2010, my older brother, Kerry, he got out. He didn't want to do trailers anymore, and I didn't have any desire to. I wanted to be in the glass business. I didn't like trailers, and so we got rid of it because my brother's health, for one, he didn't like climbing up and down, getting on his back and things, okay? So we got rid of it, okay? And I can tell you, just for instance, on the money side of that, I told him, I said, we're not making the money that we should onto this. And in the next year, for us to focus more on the glass, I made more in that next year, almost twice as much getting rid of the RV and doing more glass, okay? So it's a matter of trying to change and focus on things which are important. Yeah, Brother Russ.
Glass on RVs, or were you repairing the entire RV?
That was a great question, and you get a hat for that. No, we were doing everything all the way to it. If somebody like crashed their RV, we were taking the skin off of it, putting new skin, replacing the plumbing, painting them, putting new roofs on it. I mean, we had multiple trailers that had roofs off of them over the years. And so we had a crew of about 3 that were working on trailers nonstop, okay? Not that it didn't provide an okay living, but there was more money other places. And times were changing as well, okay? My dad bought a gutter machine as well back in the early 90s. And we tried rain gutter because there wasn't anybody doing rain gutter in the valley. Well, let me back up. There was one, and everybody just couldn't get him to come. So my dad said, okay, so he went and bought this. It was okay, but it was taking over the business. And again, my brother and I, kind of when my dad got out, we said, we're out. We don't want to climb ladders anymore, and it just wasn't making money. So we got rid of it, okay? Lately, our patio covers that we'd been doing for a long time, we discontinued them. The reason we discontinued was the fact that our vendors were poor, okay? We couldn't get supply. So we said, you know what? We can't keep focusing on this. And if we keep having to hound our vendors, I can't keep doing it. So back to the glass we went. We started more and more in glasses. You can see how I'm kind of focusing down a little bit more and going away from the outside stuff. And as the community grows, we can start focusing more on glass. In the storm door issue, we had somebody who built great storm doors for us in Salt Lake for a long time. They were custom doors. They were super nice, and they were of great price, okay? That company got bought out by a big nationwide company. That company took what they wanted, okay, dissolved that storm door company. We tried to continue with them back east and try and buy the storm doors. It just didn't work. When they'd ship us stuff, it would be broken, damaged, everything. We just said, you know what, until we can find something, we're out. A year ago, we went to a trade show, found a different product, and now we've reinstated storm doors. So you can see how we've kind of moved with it. People were asking us, how come you don't do any storm doors? Don't have a good product. Why would I try and sell you a piece of junk? I've got to live with these people in the community. I'm not going to sell them a piece of junk, okay? On to storefront fabrication. Anybody know what storefront is? Nail it. Yep. And today it takes all different kinds of dimensions, styles, right? So when we refer to storefront, it's basically the envelope that's around the buildings. The doors you go through, the side light pieces of glass. There's other types of products called curtain wall. That's in the high-rise buildings, okay? So we generally don't go into that high-rise stuff. The biggest one that I have ever been on is 2-story, and that's enough for me. But storefront fabrication, once we got out of RV, okay, here's the other part. I told my brother, I said, I know if we go do a couple of our commercial jobs and travel a little bit of ways, I know that we can replace that RV. And that's where it came in. I bought the equipment to manufacture the storefront material. We started housing it, started fabricating it on our own, took the middleman out of it again, and we actually made more money then and focused back again on the glass. 2 years ago, we bought some heavier equipment again, made some bigger purchases and some investments, and we bought a 10-wheel polisher and a water jet, okay? I'm gonna go next page. Here you can see them. That machine up there, up on the upper left to you guys, is a 10-wheel polisher. I'm gonna send this piece of glass around. You can look at it. This machine, we've had a 1-wheel polisher, and we were the only one to have a 1-wheel polisher from Provo to St. George for the longest time. We bought it in early 2000, and it was the greatest thing. It would just take the edge off, and all of our mirrors and everything looked real nice. We said, we can go up to the next step. So that piece of glass is a product of that machine, okay? That machine can take and polish an 1/8 of an inch thick glass all the way up to 1.5 inches thick piece of glass, okay? We don't do that. The biggest pieces that we run through ours are 1/2 inch and 3/8. It's just too heavy. We can't just pick it up, okay? So anyway, we're looking at a crane to put in our office or in our warehouse to move heavier glass, but because I'm getting old and I can't pick it up. Neither can our guys. So anyway, we bought a water jet machine. I just took a picture of it the other day. On that water jet machine, it cuts holes in glass. It'll cut holes in about anything, okay? They use them for granite to cut countertops out. They use them for lots of things. I put steel on there. I put plexiglass on there, and it's fabulous. It's a great machine, but it uses sand and water at high pressure at 40,000 PSI to cut holes through that. Right on that table, right there is 2 ATV windshields, okay? So these guys who are building accessories for ATVs, okay, especially the windshield part, we cut the glass and they do the steel work. So that's what that is, okay? I'm gonna go back one more. So that's what we've done, okay? So this is added to our in-house opportunities to build better for us to do more custom glass and mirrors. We don't have to send them out to have others produce them. That's less time for me to go to Salt Lake, waste my gas, waste my guys' time. I can put them on the machine and they could be making me money, okay? I shouldn't say that. Making us money, okay? I'll get to that too, I'm sorry. Okay, and so we have more control over lead time. I don't have to wait for somebody. If it comes back from Salt Lake and it's scratched, then what I gotta do? Gotta call them back up, go back up to Salt Lake, pick up the mirror because it's got a hole into it, okay? I was tired of that. I'm tired. My guys are as good as anybody in Salt Lake City. I hope I didn't offend anybody there, okay? But I'll put my guys up against anybody up there in the city, okay? I have great people. And then we cut out the middleman, okay? So one more piece of money for us that I don't have to pay anybody else to. We bring in the crates, okay? Back in the back, you can see the crates of glass that are sitting there. So we have the cranes come in off the big trucks and they set the crates of glass there. So we pull them off sheet by sheet, okay? All right. Oh, what happened to me? Okay. All right, one more thing. So in the auto glass business, we do auto glass as well, okay? So we still do a wide range of things. In the auto glass business, 1 year ago, if you know anything about the auto glass business or cars, well, you know about cars, right? They're changing, right? And we decided, okay, are we going to get in and get out, okay? Because of technology. What's on the windshield of your car that is technical? Who said that? Okay, what do you mean by that? Okay, so they're autonomous vehicles, right? Okay, most of the cars out there are not autonomous, right? But the cameras that are in there, okay, recognize lanes, okay, and they recognize signs, okay? So when that windshield changes, okay, that camera has to be calibrated, okay? Because in the factory, when they lay the windshield in there, it's on this angle, okay? If I pull that windshield out and I slightly tilt it a half a degree, okay, it's going to change the pitch of that camera, okay? So we had to buy the equipment to recalibrate those windshields, even though it's off. Most of the cars, let's just say the other competition out there, okay, they may drive away with your camera, you're just plugging it back in, and it probably will work, but I couldn't take the chance of it because, again, I live with the people in the community, and I'm not going to do a crappy job. So a year ago, we go, are we going to stick in this because we're going to have to buy a bunch of equipment and spend a lot of money, okay? We talked about it. We spent, two of us spent 2 weeks in Texas at school and at the training academy. We spent $30,000 worth of money to go down there to buy this equipment that you see right there. That's part of it. Stands up in front of the car, and the car takes the pictures of it along with the laptop, okay? So that's how we calibrate the cars today, okay? So again, we had to figure if we're gonna get in or we're gonna get out, okay? So we invested in that to stay in the windshield business here, okay? So we put this up here, I put this up there just to show you that it takes a lot to flow with what tendencies are, what technology is. You've got to be able to roll with the punches if you start a business or in a business, okay? If you're not staying ahead of the next guy, you're going to lose business, okay? And that's my whole thing is, Sanpete's a great place to live. I'm going to be a little bit selfish here. I don't want other glass companies coming in, okay? So I'm going to do everything I can, okay, to build up my force field, you might say, to keep them out, okay? So anyway, okay, so there's some of our equipment. I want to show you some of the things that we focus on and that we do, okay? That's the products of our business here. So that's a shower door, obviously. They did a nice job in with the tile and the tub, but we put that shower door in there. And so we do all kinds. We can't fabricate that heavy, we can fabricate the heavy glass, but we can't temper it. That's one more piece of equipment. We've talked about it, and it's kind of a joke, but it would cost us $2 million. $1 million or so to buy a machine, and probably another $700,000 to put the other amenities around it. Not quite there yet, okay? So, but we bring all that stuff in. We design it, put it in the program, it gets shipped off, it comes to us from Yuma or from LA, okay? And those guys down there are doing us a great job, and they can produce us shower doors. We've seen them turn around in 4 or 5 days, produced and delivered to me from Yuma. So we have a great relationship with those vendor companies. Here's a picture of two of our guys up on there on a classic car and a windshield. We've done some crazy classic cars. They're not our favorite, but we do everyday windshields, okay? And we're doing probably 15 windshields a week, probably somewhere in there. Maybe not quite that many, but we could. On the bottom is we did that. This enclosure in Central Bank up to Provo. So we had a contract to go up there, and they built that big conference room, and we put that glass all around it into it. So a couple more things. So we built that window that looks out over Capitol Reef. We go down into Wayne County, and they have some spectacular views, and the person wanted that. So we built that window, brought the two pieces of glass together and sealed them up, and they have an excellent view down there. You can see we did that big mirror. We built that mirror all in-house, cut out a big plate in the back of it for the TV mount to fit in there. The guy in blue up there, he's kind of ugly, but don't look at him. And then here's another storefront. That would be what we consider, that's what we do. That would be our bread and butter. So kind of a 2-story storefront that we built. That belongs to a company called Lone Star. We did their building. Lone Star builds Quick Quack. Anybody know? Oh, go ahead.
I had another question, but so how are you separating your manufacturing and your installation? Or is it like subcontracting it out, or do you have them?
Yes. So are you saying, do I fabricate and install?
Fabricate and install, but are those the same company, same employee?
Good question. Yes, they are. But they're all the same people. And another thing about that is I try and cross-train all my people, okay? So if one guy's sick, okay, the next guy can step right into it, okay, and pick it right up, okay, if there's a need for it, okay? There are definitely specialties that all of our guys kind of like to do, and we try and keep them in those areas, okay? But most of them have a general idea about how to run each facet. So I could take one of those guys or go tell them, okay, I need this window built, okay? And they could go in and build it, and they could go install it, okay? So yeah, that's a little bit different. You're right. I don't have two different companies for that. Just one company, and we all just work together. And so, like the other day, the other guy that I went with down to Texas, who I took down there to help figure out all this new windshield stuff, he went hunting for kind of 2 weeks, okay, with his daughter. So I had to come out, well, I'm not in the office too much, but I came out of the office and I had to do his windshield work, okay, which he normally does all the time. And so that's because I had to do all the calibrations onto it. Okay. Back to that. So that's typical storefront. That belongs to a company called Lone Star. We built their building with them. That's a tilt-up building. And they build Quick Quacks. Anybody heard of Quick Quack? Come on. Yeah? Quick Quack in the state, there's like 41 buildings, and I've done 39 or 40 of those buildings, something like that with Lone Star. So any of the glass you see in Quick Quack, that's kind of our claim to fame too, right? Oh, we did the Wendy's out here at the end of town too, if that's claim to fame. So anyway. You got Tag and Go, yep. All those guys wanted to know. Those are pretty smart guys up to Quick Quack. You notice where they put every one of their businesses? They're all right next to a high volume area. Very, very much so. So, and they're still building. I know they've still got 4 or 5 on the docket, and I got one more that we're supposed to go up and start working up in Bluffdale. So this is curtain wall. We did do some curtain wall, and we did it in residential. You're not supposed to, don't tell anybody, but commercial product and residential product are 2 different things. But to build this big window system in this guy's house, who's out in Mayfield, anybody from Mayfield? Anybody know Equal Life? Travis Good. This is Travis Good's house. Okay, so to build those big spans of windows up there, we had to use a curtain wall that would take the wind load and the heaviness of the glass. It's the only time I've ever used a crane, and it happened to be in Sanpete County. Of all my glass work, it's the only time we've done it. We used the local crane, and so we would pick it up, and then we had our other man lift to set it in place. So that's kind of cool. That was a lot of fun. So some of the things we do. Any questions? Those are the things we're really focusing on now. So we figure on, and we do, I didn't take a picture of that. Go ahead. You see this scar? I got that almost like 6 years ago. It was right before Halloween. I had to go have it stitched up. I was pulling a piece out, and so I had a sweet stitches right here like Frankenstein, right? It was cool. Yeah, and you can see he's wearing a hard hat. He's got gloves onto it. It can get disastrous in a real quick hurry, and so you've got to respect it. Yes, the razor knife gets me more than my glass does, right? Because I probably don't respect it. But yeah, you definitely have to be careful onto it. We have protective jackets that we wear when this stuff starts, getting up in front of us. So, yes. Did that answer your question? Cool. All right, you guys get a hat. Yeah, go 5.
What percentage of your work is commercial versus residential?
Caden, how much? You got it? I thought I'd let him answer that back there. It fluctuates right now. That's kind of interesting about our business, okay? And we've talked about this lately. So what's happened lately in the, like say in the past 5 or 6 years? What's happened in the building industry? Yep, you're right. Lots of residential homes been building, right? And multifamily storage, so that's really considered residential, okay? We've seen a big push for that. And so when that comes, we ride that wave of the residential, okay? So now what's happened with interest rates, okay? What are people doing? We see more commercial work and we see more remodels into it, okay? So then we'll pull off in the residential side, rather than doing new windows for the whole new house, we'll go and retro people's houses with new windows because they'll go, I still have money, but I don't want to build a new house because I can't afford it, but I want to put better upgrades in my house. So then they start doing windows in their roof and remodel their bathroom. We'll put in a shower door in for them. And so we kind of, with ours, it's kind of neat because we kind of ride this wave as the economy goes along. Okay? How much am I overtime? Okay. And so I appreciate the question. So that's how we kind of compensate for it right now. Right now, commercial is higher than residential. That's a definite. Okay? And so it works out. Okay? Any other questions? Yeah, Russ.
Going through your slide and have all those different kind of categories you're looking at.
Yeah.
It sounded like some of them you had personal reasons for discontinuing, like safety or health or those kinds of things. But when you're looking at an opportunity and trying to decide, we keep doing this or do we discontinue it? Like what factors do you look at? How do you try to determine?
That's a good question. Well, you can see some of those, and you already made mention of those, right? I mean, and some of them is product availability, right? Is the product going to be available? In glass industry too, some of that stuff comes and goes away. The trends too, right? We see trends in like, I don't know, the things to come and go. Yeah, I mean, like on the patio covers too, when I went back to it. The reason we got it, one was a vendor thing, okay? Because we couldn't get it. The other thing was it was tough for me to teach, again, another thing to try to install. And so I would rather teach a fewer things and have it more streamlined, okay? And so that's why. But yes, to my employees, right? And it kind of strings me out and our purchase guys to order so many things from so many different vendors, okay? And so I think if you can streamline it a little bit better and your productivity, okay, be better to get rid of some of these sideline things. So yeah, there's several factors in, and we have to sit down and weigh the balances of all those, okay? The windshield thing, okay? Wasn't anything about the money. The money's okay in windshields, okay? But the fact of technology, can I invest $30,000 in 2 weeks in Texas to do so? Will it pay off? What's going to happen with technology in 5 years? Is my machine still going to be good? Will I have to buy another $30,000 worth of machinery in 5 years to do those cars in 5 years? I don't know. But I know I've got a time slot between 2013 to 2024 that my machine is still good. And and hopefully I can capitalize and repay that back in a matter of years, okay? So that I can still do windshields and still do them safely. Did that answer your question? Kind of? Yeah. Oh, sorry, man. I'm not very good. Let's see. Okay, so who's gonna, I left this blank for a little bit. Okay, who wants to start a business? I want to know who's in that number one category. Okay, cool. I like that. That's good. Who might think that if they fell into that number two category, they would start a business? Okay, great. Okay. Anybody got something going like me down the line that maybe a family business or thinking about acquiring or purchasing something? Okay. Okay, good. Okay, who's going to have employees? Think you can't do it by yourself? With your plans you've got, you're going to have employees, right? Okay. Have you thought about that? Okay, here we go. I'm going to show you some special people. Okay? When you see these faces, okay, I know each one of these people. Okay? and I interact with them on a daily basis, okay? And they mean a lot to me because as you see these, not all these people are employed by House of Glass, but all of them are associated with House of Glass. And each one of them, okay, as parents come to work and support their families, it's you take on the whole family, right? Who's married here? Did you just marry your wife or did you marry your family? A family. There you go, right? You do, right? Okay? You see all these people. So we build a group, okay? And it can be overwhelming too, right? And when I hire somebody, I try and recognize that I'm not just employing one person, that I am employing a whole family, okay, that are depending upon me and upon my company, okay, to support them, okay? So we have 4 people in the office, 4 time. I have 2 people that come in and clean twice a week. I have 7 or 8 full-time installers that go out with us. And then I have 2 other part-timers, and I didn't get their picture in here. Not that they're not important, but they'll probably hate me later. But they're great people, and they've worked with us. But these people mean a lot to me, okay? And I wanted to talk about employees, okay? I think my employees are the greatest asset that I have. It takes a lot of time, and it takes an investment to make them, okay, to make it all happen. I just hired another guy because I think some of these people are going to change out of here, okay? I've got 2 possibilities. My boy might be going to the military, and so I need to replace him if he does go. And so I'm going to train somebody and get him going by the time that happens. And it does take time. Okay, I just talked with one of my other younger employees, and I said, how long did it take you to kind of get all the reins? And he said, it's been 4 to 6 months for me to even kind of just get everything wrapped up. So it takes a little time, okay? In my employees, I like to challenge them, okay? I like to help them grow. If they come up to me and ask me a question and I know it simply off the top of my head, I can tell them, or I can just go, well, maybe you need to go figure it out, right? So I try and help them grow. And then they can be smarter out on the job, right? Give them the tools to succeed, okay? What does that mean? That's why I put that question mark up there. What does that mean to be the tools to succeed? Good work environment. That's right. That is one, okay? What else? There's lots of answers to this. Nobody can be wrong. Yeah. Yep. And that's what I'm hoping to do. I'm hoping that we can continually grow. Yeah.
I am on board with you about letting people learn and not just telling them the answer. Well, but that also expensive, products that you had the special order or whatever. I'd love to hear how you.
Caden, stand up. So Caden's in the office. He's my right-hand guy in the office, okay? What happens when that happens, Caden? When we do something wrong? Yep. Guess what? I typed in one measurement wrong that I'd been out to a job. 2 weeks ago, we started building this big commercial frame onto it. I kind of got a bad feeling in my gut. I'm going to go out and try this and see if it's going to work, okay, before I build the rest of it and spend thousands of dollars. I went out, 2 of us went out and put the frame down, and I just got so frustrated. Because I'm human and I screwed it up, okay? It's on a raked roof like this. It's huge. It's 50 feet long, okay? And so I had not added like about 23 inches or something. I'd typed it in wrong on this side. So my rake was 23 inches short on this side, and it looked real good going right up. But it was still 23 inches short. I hit myself 10 times. I remeasured it, said, you know what? This is what it's all about. I can't sit here and cry about it. I brought the materials back, and this week we'll rebuild it with the right dimensions. You're very right. It does get costly, okay? But I have to figure that in too, okay? We do. And hopefully that the pros that we do more outweighs the losses, okay? I can tell you I've lost thousands and thousands of dollars in my business by mismeasurements, okay? And it happens. It really does. I don't sit and calculate all the losses into it. Maybe I'm a poor business guy onto that. But we try and fix those problems, and we talk about those things all the time. We do. Here's another thing too. As I read this a while ago from a great guy, and then I won't go into that, but I read his book. He said, in your business, you do things really well, 90%, right? 95% really good, okay? And you need to keep focusing on them, but you still need to work on those 5% all the time, right? To make it better. And I don't think I'll ever clear up the mistakes that are in there, for sure. We just keep trying, right? That's life, okay? Not going into preaching here, but that's why you're here on earth, to make mistakes and figure it out, okay? My employer and employee relationship, okay? We work together. It's symbiotic, okay? How many hours in the week do we work? Normally. In Spain, it's 37 now. 40 hours, okay? So you go to work for 40 hours for 5 days a week, okay? Let's say that, okay? So you go home to your wife how many hours before you go to sleep? 4 or 5, right? So times that by 5. So you're up to what? 25? 25, okay, right? If it weren't for Saturday and Sunday, you'd spend more time with your work family than you would, okay, with your regular family. So everybody has to try and get along, right? To try and build a team that gets along. Everybody just has to be patient, okay? You get to know them and work with them. I do spend time in the office, but most of the time I'm side by side with them most every day, okay? And so that for me, and that's why I want it. I don't want my business to get any bigger than it is, okay? Just for that reason, okay? I want to know them and I want to be able to get to work with them because I enjoy it. Let them know it's appreciated. How many likes to hear thanks when they do a good job? Yeah, heck yeah you do, right? Okay? There's several ways to give them thanks, okay? You have to find that in your business, what works for you, okay? Money always talks, okay? But sometimes a good time does it too when we go out and play golf, okay? I have where's my cool pen? I brought this here. Got this all the way from Texas. Look at this. See this here? Anybody have a recreation officer? We have a self-appointed recreation officer. He's right there. He's retired from the California penal system. They moved up here 8 years ago? 9? See how far? I can't even remember. 11 years ago. His wife works for me right there. Her name's Erin. But this is our recreation officer, and he's great. Self-appointed. Okay, he doesn't get a raise for it, but he just likes to do this. He'll arrange golf things. He'll make dinner and things like that for us to do. He loves to do that. So you might need a recreation officer, okay? All right, we're just about done here, okay? Anyway, I got to tell you one quick story. Some of the things we do, okay? One other thing, because I try and make it lively, okay? One time we went to Moab to do a job down there for the state of Utah up on Dead Horse Point, replaced a bunch of windows in the house. We got done in a record time. I figured it would take 2 days. We took the truck, the trailer, 3 of us went down, slept in the trailer. We knocked it out. I figured we'd be home like late in the evening. We got done by 11 o'clock the next day, okay? So these 2 guys that I have working, one of them is right there? One of them's right there. The other one's not here. This has been quite a while ago. Anyway, they were talking about yada yada and skydiving and jumping off the cliff because we were on Dead Horse Point and they were talking it up. And yeah, I would skydive if I got the opportunity. So I'm driving along and then coming out of Moab, if you've been down there, there's the Moab airport, okay? Right on the big sign, skydiving. I go, here it is. I'm going to reward them. I'm going to put their money where their mouth, or my money where their mouth is. I drove in, hung a left, and I said, okay, boys, here it is. Let's see if you'll do it. I coughed up $200 for each of them to go skydiving. One was full on. He was like, I'm going. The other one was, I'm not going to tell you which one. But the other one was like, he was like a little nervous and I didn't go. How about that? So I didn't say anything because I didn't go. Okay? Because I believe staying inside the airplane is a great thing. Okay? So, but I'm not making fun of him or anything. But he called his wife and she said, yeah, go for it. And so he did. And then they had a good time and they still talk about it. So things like that can make a big difference, okay? If you build a big difference, a big company, you can still do those types of things, okay? It still makes a difference, okay? Anyway, so a couple of things I can quickly tell you before we discuss. Don't be afraid to change, okay? You can see that we've changed. If your company gets going, don't be afraid to do it. Adapt to the community as it grows or things happen, trends, industry. Keep up with technology. I'm an old school guy, okay, kind of. I still like to tinker with computer. I do my best to do it, okay? My boy had to help me with some of this slideshow, so I did okay, but he helped me. You guys have the internet, social media, okay? I mean, you've heard this a lot. Network with other people. I've learned a lot of things when I've gone to trade shows and I've gone to training, okay? The only thing I feel bad about doing that is I should have done it earlier, okay? Do it earlier. I talked with a guy yesterday and we kind of networked about some things about a business and opportunities that were going, and he and I were kind of doing the same thing. And I learned a lot from him, okay? Also, in your vendors, don't be afraid to reach out to people who are higher up, okay? We all put our pants on the same way, right? Okay, these people aren't any special to you. Don't be afraid to reach out to people who are in upper positions. On some of those companies who I deal with, I'm not afraid. If I know the president and I got a big problem, I have enough rapport, I can call the president and talk with him, okay? So, and it's in your best interest. Anyway, so one more thing, I think I got one more slide. So I've done into another couple of ventures with my wife and family, okay? So this fits us kind of into the other categories. My 14-year-old boy, who's now 18, a couple years ago, well, 4 years ago, he goes, I want to start an ice cream business. I'm like, okay. So we started looking into it, found this little truck down to St. George, went down, bought it, brought it home, modified it, and now it drives around town and he, makes a living with ice cream, okay? The next thing that I saw was people are coming more and more to Ephraim and they needed a place to store their boat and RV. Costs like $100, $200 to store your boat in Salt Lake, right? For me to be competitive down here, I can only charge like $40 or $50, okay? But people bring their stuff down here to recreate and they keep seeing things down here in little old Ephraim. So most people around here have a place to store their boat. I'm after those other ones. Anyway, it's time to quit. I appreciate everybody. I hope that it's been beneficial, some of the things that I've told you here today. Thank you very much.